Hey guys, it's Sunday, Father's Day. I'm out running around, having a little fun. Got to get some stuff at the depot, get some grocery stuff. Um, but I've been trying to make this message for a long time, and I'm just going to kind of put it together, kind of just to show you guys the idea when looking into Daniel 11. And I just want to start off with the examples first and then move into the end piece where I'm kind of trying to show you guys what I'm talking about. Sometimes it's just easier to go backwards than to start at the beginning and then make the examples. So I got Ezekiel 23, Aholah and Aholibah. The word of the Lord came to me, saying, Son of man, there were two women, the daughters of one mother, and they played the whore in Egypt and played the whore in their youth. So if we skip ahead now to verse 4 in that, Aholah was named of the elder, and Aholibah the name of her sister. They became mine, and they bore sons and daughters. As for their names, Aholah is Samaria, and Aholibah is Jerusalem. So a land of the north, and a land southern of that northern land. Now, it goes into what they did in their idolatry and chasing after what other people had versus what they had throughout that. I want to go to Jeremiah because there's a very similar scenario, but it's different lands. So, Jeremiah chapter 3, verse 7, talking about in the days of King Josiah, backsliding Israel and what they've done. They've played the harlot. So starting at verse 7, and I said after she had done, let me zoom this in, what am I doing? I'm trying to read this micro print. And I said after she had done all these things, turn unto me, and she returned not. And her treacherous sister Judah saw it, and I saw, when, for all the causes whereby backsliding Israel committed adultery, I had put her away, and given her a bill of divorce. Yet her treacherous sister Judah feared not, but went and played the harlot also. And it came to pass, though the likeness of her whoredom, that she defiled the land, and committed adultery with stones and with stocks. And yet for all this her treacherous sister Judah hath not turned unto me with her whole heart, but feignedly, saith the Lord. And going down to the next one, it talks again. And the Lord said unto me, the backsliding Israel hath justified herself more than treacherous Judah. So, the whoredoms, because Judah was one of the brothers of Joseph, and Israel, I believe, was that Jacob's original name, I believe? So, men. But in these metaphors, and, well, if these representations, I guess would be the best way to put it, how they're representing the land after people, but after sisters, which sisters are daughters of parents. Some very interesting things if you go into Jeremiah chapter 3 through 9. I mean, if you just kind of go up and down, through those and just kind of compare that to Revelations or other prophecies, it's kind of amazing. So kind of just moving along here. I'm not trying to rush this, but like I said, I've been trying to do this, and I've been failing at it. And I kind of asked the Lord to help me the other day, and I said I would try to get this message out, and it just kind of keeps falling through. I was trying to do it yesterday while I was getting an oil change, and I kept getting moved around by the oil change guys, and I Didn't want to cause anybody else any grief while I'm sitting around while they're trying to run their business. So I kind of messed it all up. So before we go into Daniel, and I make kind of the final point, because I'm saying, I'm not saying that these are representations of what's in Daniel, but Daniel has that chapter 11 is very interesting. It's a very long story, and it's like kind of like moving through a timeline of things that are happening. And what are those things? I shouldn't be wearing a hat probably while I'm doing this. It's my new hat, though. I kind of made this. I get these blank hats and I iron these things on, but it's my, I have a bunch for work, but this is my going out one. So the book of Hosea, when you're in Daniel 11:12 is a continuation of that, and you could see how it goes into pretty much like the great harvest, I believe, or the end times, as the wrath is coming. But the book of Hosea, I was kind of just wondering, like, where was Hosea in this time? And I ran across this article definition in the Encyclopedia Britannica talking about the book of Hosea. And Hosea began his prophetic activity during the reign of Jeroboam II, 786 to 746 BC. His prophetic announcement indicates that he was active until near the fall 721 BC of the northern kingdom of Israel, the scene of his entire ministry. And going into Hosea's first 4 chapters, talks about marrying a wife and having children, and how the names of those children are, in a sense, a representation of what Israel has done in their backsliding. And the names of the children are literally like, "You are not my people." So on and so on. You can go in and you can read them. But it's just interesting that it talks about sons and daughters first in the beginning of chapters of Hosea, right after Daniel. So it's like you're getting the story of daughters and sons and wives and husbands, and he just happened to be a part of the northern kingdom of Israel. So finally, let me just go into, I got all these screen saves. Now, I guess I'll start at the very beginning and I'll work my way into the second paragraph of Daniel 11. But as for me, the first year of Darius the Mede, I stood up to confirm and strengthen him. And now I will show you the truth. Behold, 3 kings shall arise in Persia, and the 4th shall be far richer than them all. And when he has become strong through his riches, he shall stir up all against the kingdom of Greece. So, 4 kings out of Persia and coming against Greece. Verse 3 starts off, "Then a mighty king shall arise." Doesn't say from Persia, doesn't say from Greece, doesn't say from where this king is coming from. Are we supposed to expect that he's coming out of Babylon or Greece, Persia? "The mighty king shall arise, who shall rule with great dominion and do as he wills. And as soon as he has arisen, his kingdom shall be broken and divided toward the 4 winds of heaven." So let's just jump down into verse 5 here. In quotations, "Then the king of the south shall be strong, but one of his princes shall be stronger than he, and shall rule. With his authority shall be a great authority. After some years they shall make an alliance, and the daughter of the king of the south shall come to the king of the north and make an agreement. But she shall not return the strength of her arm, and he and his arm shall not endure, but she shall be given up, and her attendants, he who fathered her, and he who supported her in those times. and from the branch from her roots one shall arise in his place. And then it continues to go through this back and forth of the king of the north and the south, but no longer does it talk about Persia or Greece. So who are these northern and southern kingdoms? And I thought about it the other day. It's like, I wonder if it's one of those things you could ask one of those AI things, because it seems that they just pour out like truth, like they have a supernatural knowledge, or just a great way of cross-referencing so much more at rapid speed. But I really don't want to go into one of those things and mess around. I don't know why, it just doesn't feel right. But you see all these different times where it's talking about sons and daughters and northern lands, as in Aholah and Aholabah, Samaria and Israel or Jerusalem, and then the other ones that are talking kind of the same way, Judah and Jerusalem or Israel. I'm probably mixing these all up, but I just want to show you guys that, and it's just kind of an interesting thing, because then when you get into the New Testament, you can also kind of go into where it speaks about, Jesus says to them, your children shall be your judges. I believe it's Matthew 10 he speaks about that. Therefore your children shall be your judges. And then when Pontius Pilate is trying to release Jesus, and they want him crucified, the people, I believe it was the Sadducees or the Pharisees or both, I can't remember which one it was, but how he says, well, I wash my hands. Be sure that you make note that I wash my hands of the blood of this innocent man. And they say, well, his blood be on us and our children, sons and daughters. So I'll leave it at that. Like I'm saying, I'm not saying that Daniel 11 is talking about anything in that timepiece land, but without any kind of clear clarification of what kingdom of the north and the south are, I've heard everything. I've heard that it's a past event. It's already happened. It was something in the time of Alexander the Great and his children or his brothers or something like that, they spread around the land. They fought each other for dominance and yada, yada, yada. Or are we waiting for literally a woman daughter to come out and somehow be brought up on the scene in the time before the Antichrist comes? Has it already happened? Have we already, is this some sort of a longer timeline that's making its way out? Was the daughter possibly maybe the Queen of England? Who knows? I don't know. Just interesting when you look at all these times where it talks about, if you go into Bible study tools and you can do word searches, and then you can go into the filter and you can see where all these times it speaks about daughters, and that's where I found like the things in Jeremiah, and I knew about Ezekiel 23. That's one that's always just been kind of on my mind. But I'll leave it at that. Just a word of the wise. I got to run. I'm trying to do a lot, and my little Jeep's going to be full of junk. So just a word of the wise, guys. Have a great day. God bless.